Good morning, class. My name is Luke, you can call me Lucky, and today is Thai Tuesday. And I'm doing something a little different than what I normally do. You'll notice, for one, that my voice doesn't match my video, and that's because I'm doing a voiceover. And the reason I'm doing a voiceover is because I was working outside today, and I decided I wanted to get some footage, just behind a new background. So I went to this family restaurant that wasn't so busy, and decided I would get some footage here. However, I don't like being a nuisance, and I'm pretty embarrassed to record myself in public, but I still wanted the footage, so I compromised and I decided I would just film myself and then voice over after. And that's what we're seeing right here. So, the tie that I'm wearing today is called the Cement Blue Stripes tie. And I know that's a lot, but the reason it has kind of such a strange name is because I think it gives it character. It's not a bad tie. It's a decent looking tie. But I own so many blue ties and I own so many stripe ties, and I can't just keep calling them like, oh, this is blue stripe tie number 3, right? Like each tie has its own soul, its own character, and yeah, I gotta give it its justice. It's also Calvin Klein. Not that that's important. I don't care much for brand name ties. I mean, if it looks nice, I wear it. That's basically where that conversation ends. The work I was doing today, I'm switching gears. The work I was doing today was, how should I say this? I'd like to have a discussion about artificial intelligence. Let me ask you a question. So, imagine, if you will, that I want a design for a birthday card. And I tell that to an AI model, and I'd say, hey, give me a birthday card, make it creative, make it look very nice. And then the AI does whatever it does, and it spits out this birthday card, and then I look at it and I go, no, that's not what I want, go do it again, right? And I do that, each and every time, adding in a bit of a new requirement, make this brighter, make this pop or whatever, and, just each and every time I just say, no, that's not what I want, that's not what I want, and then reiterate. And at the end of it, what you have is, an exhausted model that doesn't know what you want, and you're unsatisfied because you haven't gotten the product that you wanted. But and here's the thing, each of the things that the AI has produced for you, it looks good. It looks good, but it's not what you wanted, right? It's like, it's well catered, it's taken the time and expertise to, conform your creativity into a product that, it thinks that you will like, because it's just gathered in all of the art and experience of the world into what people generally like. So whatever the product is that it's made, it's good, quote unquote good, but it's not what you asked for, right? And I ask you, right, is this the problem of AI, or is this a problem of the user not being able to describe clearly or use the tool effectively? Lock your answers in. What do you think? Boop, boop, boop. Oh, guess what? It's a user error? Well, here's the twist. Today, I didn't use any AI. Today, I went to the office, and my managers or whatever asked me to create for them a card template that would fit, X amount of, nice notes and comments, and, it would, have it be a nice, flashy design. And then, when I produced for them something, they just weren't entirely satisfied with it. I'm not AI. I'm just following their instruction. And every time I would give them something, and then they would reiterate on, oh, I need this to look like this, or I need this to be here, and then I would just change it, and it's a lot of work. But AI is not the problem here. Having said that, I don't use AI. And the reason I don't use AI is it's kind of parallel to this analogy, this story. When I'm telling the story in full, I'll tell you it like this. Me and another guy came into the office today for this same task. We were supposed to help the team create some cards. And me, doing what I do, I used all my knowledge and experience and the materials that I had available to me, and I made some very nice, simple cards that accomplished every goal that they had asked for. It had the names, it had the comments, it was thematic, it tied into what the card, what they asked me to do. And the other guy jumped into AI. And I'll describe to you what that process looked like. I created a template for the card in about 5 minutes in Google Slides, because all it was just a background and 2 or 3 pictures, a title, and then a space for the comments. And he spent probably the first 20 or 30 minutes just writing in prompts and then waiting. It was like 1 minute of writing a prompt and then 5 minutes of waiting. And then realizing, oh, I needed to add this, and then write a minute of writing a prompt and then 5 minutes of waiting. And he repeated this process over and over again until he came up with a design that they were more or less satisfied with. And then basically, after 1 hour, he actually ran into more trouble because he realized that they needed this. They needed the model to be scalable. They needed to apply this to it was like 50 or 60 different cards, whereas I had one single template that I knew worked and fulfilled all the requirements, and I basically just brute forced that manually, copy and pasting the comments into the card template, and then changing the name for each card. And then after 1 hour, after 2 hours of just manual labor, I was finished. After 2 hours of using the AI, they were getting really frustrated because they realized that the font wasn't readable, the colors were changing in between each iteration, the printing size didn't match what the printer was that they were using. It was printing in letter instead of A4. Just a whole jumble of messes. And I mean, am I the one to point out, oh, this is just a skill issue? Yeah, it is. It is kind of a skill issue. Having said that, why didn't I use AI? Because it's not worth my time to try and conform my creativity into a tool that has essentially no tangible handles on how it gets used. I know that's speaking kind of abstractly, but I mean, truly, there's just, I don't see an effort, I don't see there being value in trying to master something that is just so unwieldy, because ultimately, I know what it is I want. I know what products or whatever I want the final product to look like. And I've used AI before in different creative capacities, and every time that I have, it's produced for me something that was good after many iterations and reprompts. But that's the catch, is that even though it's good, it's not what I want. And that's not to say that what I want isn't good, it's just that what's good and what I want are not the same. I have a clear understanding of how that material is going to be used in whatever context. And in my case, it's classroom materials. And I know what, say, vocabulary is going to be useful. I know what figures are going to be popular. I know what grammar the students have learned already. which is why I'm able to create material that is intuitive for students to use, whereas AI is really just taking guesses. And there's only so much material and prompting that I can do to try and get AI to produce something that that will be useful for a context that it just fully doesn't understand. I think, and look, in the defense of artificial intelligence, I think there are plenty of good uses for automating certain menial tasks, but when it comes to creativity or this process, it's just kind of a waste of effort unless you know exactly what you're doing. But I'll round the story off before this gets too long. After finishing my half of the work in 2 hours, I basically sat at my desk staring at the computer screen, waiting to do something else because I was there for the rest of the day. And the other guy was still there re-prompting, his AI to try and get it to produce something consistent. And I decided I'll take a bite. I'll try and help him. And I took one of his prompts and I took the image that it produced, and then I turned that into a template. I manually turned it into a template that we could just we could put text boxes over and then just type our comments in manually. So kind of a compromise. Start the base using AI creatively and then take the brunt of the work and commit to it manually. A little backwards if you ask me, but that's what we decided to do. After probably another hour of this compromise solution, we printed out the card, only to realize that the AI produced image sucked. Like, when you blew up the photo and you looked at the details, I mean, the guy had an extra finger, the shoes were like kind of a mess. You could just tell by looking at it that it just didn't look right. It looked, and not that this is necessarily an insult, but it looked very AI. It looked super artificial. And not that our issue was appeasing the anti-AI faction, but I mean, look, it just didn't look good. That was just the fact of it. And so, I think the message here is, again, that even if you manage to use AI creatively in the way that you wanted to, and it produces for you something that's quote unquote good, because look, it's like that's not something that I could do. But that's kind of because I don't want to do something like that. I would never try and make something look that way. I'd like to keep things simple. I like to not have too many elements, that are like visually distracting. I like to have a clear focus point. And so, this is why I don't use AI often. But again, I think the greater problem here is that it's the user. And I mean that in a more abstract sense, because perhaps this is maybe this is a pattern around the world, but I mean the majority of my career now has been here in Japan, so talking to management is kind of this is my experience, is that like management, perhaps management in Japan, but maybe just management in general, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want. They don't know how to communicate what they want. I walked into that office today. I didn't even know why I was there. And I asked them, what am I doing? And they said, we need to make a card and we need to just put the information here so we can deliver it to the clients. And I asked, okay. They asked me, do you have any ideas? And I asked them, You're the one who brought me here. Do you have any ideas? Why did you bring me here without any context? If this was the task that you wanted me to do, I thought this was just gonna be some manual work. But they wanted me to design this project in full, which is utter nonsense. And then the process began where they were just asking me for things and then reiterating on the things that they needed to be done, and then wanting it to be more whatever, more better, more flashy, more engaging visuals. They did not do a clear, concise job of asking for what they needed. And professionally, I feel like this is just a pattern that has happened often. Like when I was at my previous job, they were also just like, hey man, numbers are down, we need to get students signing up for this level, this test or whatever, we need them signing up for this campaign. What are we gonna do? I was like, I don't know, man, you're the manager. This is kind of your field of expertise, isn't it? I'm just a lowly grunt here trying to running our clients through the textbook. Is just it's a skill issue. I'm going to reiterate a few other things. AI is not inherently bad, but it's not necessary. Moreover, if you're getting bad results from AI, yeah, that's kind of a skill issue. But also, that skill issue isn't restricted just to AI. I mean, that's just management in general. Just doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah, that's most of the point that I wanted to make today. Today was a long video. I didn't intend for it to be this long. I was kind of hoping I would speed run through this, but somehow I managed to talk for 15 minutes straight about AI. Oh man, I gotta finish this up soon. This food was great, by the way. I love family restaurants. I don't eat out often. I save money. I just cook for myself every day. Alright, I guess I should kind of finish up here. I wanted to show you the last bit here, which, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'll talk right through the end. I have a set of family. When I came to Japan for the first time, there was some experiences. There's the handful of experiences that I wanted, that I thought to myself, these are like archetypical Japanese experiences that you must have when you go here. And yes, they were all based in anime, because at the time I was really into anime. And one of these experiences was you go to a family restaurant and they ask you, do you want to sit in the non-smoking section or the smoking section? All right, and my response is supposed to be, I'm gonna go to the smoking section. That was a sour lemon, by the way. I realize you're supposed to put the lemon on the karaage, but yeah, I just didn't. I don't like lemon on my karaage, but I also don't like wasting food, so I just eat the lemon. Smoking section, wanted to go to the smoking section. It's the Reiwa era. There's no more smoking sections. They got rid of all of them. That is not fun. If you go to like some really old establishments, it still might show up in there, but for the most part, that's it. All right, that's the end of the video. I'm heading out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.